Welcome back to The Will of the Hunted. This week's guest is a talented musician, a proud queer icon, and a great friend of mine. He recently released a new album this spring and just followed it up with an even more experimental single called Naked in the Street. Someone who needs no further introduction. Please welcome Parcher. This podcast is for support and commentary only, not professional advice. I am not a licensed clinician. This podcast might be triggering to some listeners as we have honest discussions about trauma, but we have lighter conversations about mental health and identity as well. And if you need help, go to thewillofthehunted.com/resources. And remember, you are not alone.
Hello.
Hi, Parcher. How are you?
I'm good. How are you?
I'm great. I'm very excited to talk to you and learn about your life story and what got you into music and what motivates you to make music.
Thank you. I'm excited to be here and to spill all the beans, basically.
All right. So, do you prefer to go by Parcher and what are your pronouns?
Yeah, so I'm fine with either Parcher or Parker. Parcher is like a stage name, so if you want to call me Parker, be a little more personal, that's fine. And my pronouns are he, him.
I learned those in your song Baby Girl.
He him, but I'm giving baby girl. Cause I got my finger on my hair and it's a twirl. Now I know you wouldn't say it to my face, but you bitches are obsessed, yeah, call me disgrace.
Because you said he, him, but
I was
giving
so
baby
close to
girl.
making that joke. I didn't know if I should make it or not. He, him, but I am giving baby girl. What can I say?
How would you describe yourself and your music, just to begin with?
Um, hmm. I try to remain as authentic as possible. And that's something I've always tried to do like from the start. So basically just whatever, comes to the heart. Um, which, sometimes is serious music. I went into like a pop phase where I wanted to be this like pop icon and play this like caricature for Dial My Number. Um, and my latest album that came out this year, Alive Dead Repeat, was basically just a big bash of whatever the hell I wanted to do. Um, it's quirky, it's funny with the lyrics, and it's witty, I feel like. And yeah, that's basically how I would describe my music.
So, you are originally from the South. What can you tell me about yourself and what it was like? What it's been like growing up there?
I will definitely say it shaped me into the person who I am now. So I grew up in Kentucky, a little north of central Kentucky. So like, some people are with it, some people aren't. I feel like going to middle school and high school, that's when people really weren't with it. It's a lot of teenage boys and you get the vibe there. Um, but something that I talk a little bit about in my newest song, Naked in the Street, is that I actually used to work at a church. So around from I think it was the summer of fifth grade going into sixth grade, all the way to the start of my freshman year of high school, I used to volunteer at a church in the tech department in like the K through 5 area. So I would like put on the shows basically for them, which it had its pros and cons, mainly cons. But it it's just, yeah, I feel like going to middle school here and working at the church was really the true Southern experience for a young gay kid.
It's giving Preacher's Daughter.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. It was not the best.
And I've mentioned to you as well, I have family from the South and I have lost family in the South because of transitioning. So I feel the struggle. Like it's that's a tough place to be proud and out, and for you to not only be out but also making music that is very queer empowering is just really inspirational to me, and you're one of the few artists who makes me proud to be queer.
Well, thank you. Sweet. I can definitely relate on the losing family thing. I think we touched on this in like a DM not too long ago, but I was just disowned by my grandma like last month or the month before that. Um, she like I noticed she had unfollowed me on Instagram quite a while ago. I think it was just like controversial posts or whatever. But my mom posted something on Facebook and it was, obvious that I'm with my boyfriend and some people didn't like that that much and yeah, which, not a big loss in my opinion. But yeah, she was not having it, to say the least.
I'm so sorry. Wow. That's, yeah. So
Oh,
you said you weren't very close
no,
with
it's
her to
okay.
begin with.
Yeah, not really. I feel like there was uh like she tried, but definitely not hard enough. Like whenever like she was sending rants and rants basically, one of the things she said was, I never assumed that you were gay or anything. It's like, really? Really? Like were you blind? Deaf? You know, whatever.
She did not listen to Dial My Number.
No, definitely not. Definitely did not watch the Kentucky Prince music video.
Never gave a shit what you all thought about my stripper shoes. Next time I plan on wearing them to your grandpa's funeral. Duntucky. I'm music of other men questioning all of their lives. ERINC. That's me. Tired of these mega twins, push your ass back to Tennessee.
She probably is now though, and is like, whew. Um, but yeah, I don't feel like there was a strong connection there, and you could argue that that's from both me and her, but I feel like just the older people get, just with her and just in general, I feel like the older people get, the more closer to God, I guess they get. Especially you'll experience that a lot in the South, is like they want to, tie up loose ends, all that stuff. So I get what she's trying to do. I just think she's doing a horrible job at it because I don't know, that's just me. I don't think God wants people to like be disowned and stuff. That's for me, but I'll take it. I'm fine.
She said, "You are not getting in my way of meeting Jesus."
Oh yeah, you know what? I will step aside with my boyfriend, actually.
You're like, actually, I'm
Yeah,
good. Like,
real
I have a
glad.
great boyfriend. I'm killing it
Yeah,
on the
it
music.
was
Yeah.
yeah, it basically felt like a me or him situation. Like, choose me, your grandmother, or him. Who do you think I'm picking? Who? Not you.
I'm so sorry that happened though, but it's like that's something that I've experienced too. Is especially, I mean, not only the generational gap in terms of, I mean, people like us were not out and proud as much, or it wasn't as accepted and normalized back in the day, but also when it goes down to really core religious, like your DNA, like if you're raised your entire life, especially like in the South, like my uncle who disowned me is a Baptist preacher. He's a my yeah yeah. So Baptist preacher doesn't talk to me anymore. Blocked me on Facebook. But I feel like people in the South who I've known have had a hard time separating what they've heard in church from the real people in their life and the people they love, and kind of having to make that decision, which is just so fucked. Because it's like, if you're choosing a book over your
Mhm.
child or your grandchild, what are you doing?
Yeah, I've just basically took the entire thing as not that much of a loss. Like my life has not changed. If anything, it's kind of been a bit better. I don't feel like I have to be as cautious about what I post and like there was a like time where like also am I allowed to curse on here?
Yes.
Okay, like in Dial My Number, I think the opening track I said bitch and I was like, "Oh my God, this is crazy. I'm controversial now." Ooh, like that was a huge moment in my music. Not even that, but like in the now deleted album Bella's Contrabellum, I think I said hell once and I was like, "Ooh, that's risky." So, it was just having family follow you on social media is definitely but definitely not as big of a risk anymore, I don't think.
When did you start writing music?
So, we have to get into it, and that's like the most embarrassing part of it all. So back in like medieval times, basically, aka 2017, I started making YouTube videos. And I was just like that kid at school, like, I want to be a YouTuber. Oh, I want to be a YouTuber, please. Subscribe to my channel. And it was like really bad. Because it was like horrible content. Um, my mom would watch all of my videos before I uploaded it so that I wasn't like saying stupid shit and like getting myself in trouble. Thank God. Cause whew. Um, but I wanted to be an influencer so bad, and my biggest inspirations at the time, and I need y'all to hold my hand when I say this, is Liza Koshy, David Dobrik, and worst of all, Gabby Hanna. So, whenever Gabby Hanna started making music, I was like, I can do that too. Why not? Um, I had no idea how music was made, no concept really, no like genuine grasp of it. So I would go on GarageBand on my phone, my little iPhone 6, and I would just like take Apple loops and make like these songs, I guess. They like didn't I don't know, it was like the most generic music you could think of, and it wasn't good. It was really bad. Um and I didn't know how to record at the time, like in GarageBand. So I would just export it as a file, put it in iMovie, and record vocals in like iMovie
Oh, the
with the voiceover
voiceover. Yeah.
feature. It was so bad. Oh my God. And I would also not I didn't write lyrics. So I was just like freestyling every time. I was like, it means more if it comes from the heart. It's like, no, dumbass, you don't have to do it like that. Like that's I was a mess. But I think it was in 20 like late 2018 when I discovered Grimes, and I heard a lot, like you can see some Grimes posters on my wall. You know, R.I.P. Grimes. Um, like she would produce her own stuff, and I was like, produce? What's that? And that's basically how I learned, like, GarageBand isn't just loops. Like you can actually do stuff. And I finally got a computer. I started making stuff, and it was definitely a slow process. I released my first cover song in late 2018, Mac DeMarco's My Kind of Woman. I did a cover of that and I posted it. And then I did a cover of Metal by Gary Newman. And the Metal cover is like, I have that thing in a flash drive locked away. It's horrific. It's so bad. Um, but you can still find the My Kind of Woman cover on YouTube and maybe SoundCloud. I don't know. But yeah, that was the first one. And after that, I just started to write my own stuff, like actually writing down lyrics and actually making my own melodies. And it was a very slow process, though.
I remember learning about you on TikTok through some friends, I think, and then this is when you released Hair off of BCB, Bellus Contrabellum, Parcher's
Oh,
debut
yeah.
album. Rest in peace. She's been buried. But the singles are still
Oh,
out,
yeah.
right?
Only Hair. I took
Only
everything
Hair.
else down.
Hair survived.
Only Hair.
But yeah, I remember you doing either Instagram or TikTok lives, and you were like in a studio, and I was like, "Is this like your
Yep.
school or something?" I'm like, "Or are you are you actually going to school for this?" Like, I was like, "Whoa."
Yeah, it was that was the public library actually. They have a recording studio, and I would never like actually use the equipment they provided. I just brought my own computer, my own mic. Um Mainly cuz it was just like it was Logic Pro, but it was super outdated. So, I still live at home, of course, and I don't want to record when like everyone else is here. So I always just try my best to like run off to the studio and record my stuff there. So, that's what that was.
I've never heard of a public library having a recording studio, but that's so great.
It's nice, yeah.
I hope they follow in your music, and they're like, this is what our tax dollars are going towards."
Oh yeah, that is crazy. The my local town's tax dollars have gone to my music in a way. Yeah.
Just like the instrumentals and the production value, it just really blows me away. And I am like, how did this not come out of like a big studio in LA? Or I'm like, how are you not bigger as an artist? How do people not know about this? This is crazy. And I just
Thank you.
like the star power and like just like the persona and everything. I mean, now that you're kind of you said you're trying to remove kind of like the pop star persona and
Hmm.
do more just like raw talent, but like talking about like real life things.
Definitely like the most raw I feel like that I've written about. So far I have a couple songs done, and Naked in the Street is included on this next album. Um, but I definitely do want to go back to like the Alive Dead repeat of it all, I guess. I'm working on this album along with another, like, I think it's gonna be a mixtape, to be honest. I don't know what it's gonna be. I have so many different things like mapped out in my head. Um, but this album takes a more electronic yet rock and grungy sound. I'm getting the help of my boyfriend. He does a lot of the guitars for this album.
Ooh.
But I do think after this I want to kind of like just retire any idea of story albums or like concept albums that I've done in the past, because just making like stuff like a Live Dead Repeat, it's literally just an entire album of me like talking about shaking my ass. Um, you know, I'm broke, but like, you know what? Fuck y'all, Loki. Um, that's basically all it is. It's just a vibe, and I like that a lot more. And I also like thinking of performing that music one day, and I definitely just want to have like a club. I want a concert, but I want it to be like a club. I want it to, have that sort of energy to it. So I definitely feel like I'll be, making this little pit stop with this album and then immediately going back to Live Dead Repeat and kind of expanding on that and what that album means to me. So,
Could you walk people through, for listeners who may not know your work, can you walk us through like your discography in a really quick
yeah,
way?
so Dial My Number is more pop centric. It takes some inspiration from the early 2000s. Um, and like for the first half of that album, it's like I kind of separate it into chunks. There's a hyperpop section, there's an early Y2K section, a in your face Gaga section, like pause up, and then there's a kind of like let's slow it down outro the album section. Um, and then with the Live Dead Repeat, it was just like a horrible year, really. I kind of just like used music to like keep me alive almost. So I was just doing whatever the hell I wanted. And basically, it's a lot of bass, it's a lot of loud and like clear mixes, but the songs are kind of messy in an organic way. Like clipping stuff out of newspapers and putting like making art like that. That's how this album sounds or feels to me. Um, and then we're going through a more psychedelic rock era right now, but I definitely would use Alive Dead Repeat as like this is what to expect from me as an artist. So I
Yeah.
will say I will never be able to top Gaga for sure. She is one of my biggest inspirations of all time. Another inspiration for Alive Dead Repeat that I forgot to mention earlier
Mm.
was whenever I was making this album, I followed Charlie XCX on the Brat account, or the what the hell is it called? Is it
360 brand, 360 brow or something.
360? Yeah, the 360 account, the private one. And she had done like a Q&A on her stories, and she had mentioned something that grabbed my eye. Someone was talking about like how's the album gonna sound, and she mentioned that something about like simplicity, kind of not having a bunch of complex instrumentals and like past projects have had. So that's kind of like what I channeled with a Live Dead Repeat. A lot of the sounds are from like old drum kits, like pitched samples and just stuff like that. It gives it this like really weird sound, but I love it so much. Kind of like a garage sale of music, if that makes sense. Like just scraps, sort of. Whenever I was growing up, I don't know if you can see it. Can you the Fame Monsters right over there. I found this in my closet, ironically, from when I was a kid. It's one of like OG, like when the album came out, like well, I was like 4 or 5. I think I must have been like 6 or 7 whenever I actually started listening to the Fame Monster. Um, but I was obsessed with Gaga as a kid. I had a Born This Way poster. Don't know how my mom didn't know I was gay, but I was really obsessed with Gaga as a kid. And I feel like going back to the Southern Town thing, a lot of people will be like, Gaga, the fuck, that's like gay, ew.
But yeah, like you were saying about Born This Way as well, like that was the first time I'd ever heard the word transgender. And when I was 12, I still didn't know what that meant. So,
Right.
how did listening to people like Gaga and also your own music and your own journey into creating music, what role did your identity play in that?
It's weird. I feel like growing up, I didn't even know like what gay was or what gay meant. So I kind of just like went with the flow. I used to be a dancer like way back in the day, like elementary school. And I grew up listening to a lot of Pussycat Dolls, Britney Spears, Gaga, which is very apparent now based on my music. Yeah, I didn't really like even look into it. I think I asked my mom, "What does gay mean?" when we were watching like America's Got Talent because some guy was out as gay. Yeah, I didn't really think about it until like middle school, which was a horrible time because at this point it wasn't a serious relationship, but I was in a relationship with a girl in middle school, who ironically her sister gave me the nickname Parcher. Um, but yeah, I thought about it. I was like, okay, I'm just gonna say that I'm bi, but I'm never gonna tell anybody, and I'm just gonna marry a girl because it was very like internalized at the time, and I was like, I was horrified to face it, TBH, even though like everyone around me knew. Um, and then I came out to her and ended up getting outed. It wasn't her fault, but basically, I live in a small town, so it's three middle schools and one high school at the time of this. Everyone found out about it. Every middle school, the high school, I was like, people from the high school were hearing about it and saying some things you probably shouldn't be saying about an eighth grader, or anybody. Um, but yeah, around then I kind of just almost blacked it out in a way. I very quickly got this like, if you bully me, I'm immediately gonna bully you back attitude, which got me into some trouble for sure, because it was very much like my defense was always up, and I was just a raging cunt back in like when I got outed. Um, and yeah, I low key felt like unstoppable. I was just mean as fuck to everybody. And then around freshman year, I kind of like started to mellow out. I was like a normal person again, like, very eccentric. I feel like I was just discovering like a lot of things that maybe like younger gay people found out earlier, but like when I found out you could make two gay guys in The Sims, I was like, holy shit, that's crazy. What do you mean they can like live together and like be in a relationship? That's so cool. And just like, yeah, I very much I knew who I was from a very young age. I just did not know my sexuality yet.
That's so interesting about you having this kind of like defensive personality, and it did that kind of did your like need to outlet that expression, personality, whatever you want to call it, character, is that where the Parcher persona came about?
Kind of within the music, especially with the Live Dead Repeat. I feel like I still experience some like homophobia. Weirdly enough, I don't want to say I experience transphobia because I'm not a trans person, but working in like the public service, I get misgendered a lot. And sometimes it's not even like misgendered, like some people will think I'm like M to F and then be like, "Okay, thank you, sir." And I'm like, "Yeah. You're right. Yeah.
You're
Yeah."
like, actually, thank
It's
you.
kind of like right. It's kind of like that meme of like, "You will never be a real woman." It's like, "Okay. Thanks." Like it's just that audacity of like, I can always tell. Shut the fuck up. No, you can't. That's actually where baby girl comes from. Um, someone called me baby girl while I was at work, and I was just like, Okay, and that quickly like became a nickname, unfortunately. So that's where that came from.
What an incredible origin story. That is a very fun song.
Oh yeah, thank you. Oh, also, I quit working at the church because whenever I got outed, I lost all of like my straight male friends except one. He's still a trooper, love him. I lost like a lot of those straight male friends, and one of which, um, he went to the same church I went to, and I'm not saying he did anything wrong, but his parents came up to me one day, and all I got was a. This was after I had gotten outed, and like I hadn't talked to their son in a minute. They came up to me and they said, "We just want to let you know that we're praying for you, and we're just hope you and your family are doing okay." And I kind of like immediately clocked it as like, "Oh, you know, oh, okay, okay." But like after that, a little bit, my mom was like, "Hey, I don't think I can take you to church on Sundays anymore. Like my work schedule's kind of getting flip-flopped." She's like, "Do you want me to arrange a ride?" I was like, "No." She's like that means you have to quit. I'm like, "No, okay. No, bye by me." So, thank God the timing was just like perfect. Um, but yeah, that the church there's one person. I don't want to say anything too much about them, but I feel like if they're watching this, they know who they are. Um, Very sweet. Everyone else, um,
So, did music kind of become a safe space for you and all of that?
kind of, yeah. That's a little bit after that. Is when I started producing like my first EP, and that took me like forever to like actually produce. So a lot of that music was kind of comforting. Even War Train, it's kind of like a whole metaphor of being like outed and stuff. So that music definitely helped me get through that time and like kind of like a journal almost. And it's funny because now I kind of use it as like the opposite. Like not really. Like I still vent in my songs, but I'm definitely more abrasive. Um, in my music now, and it's basically like a okay, if you don't like me, fuck you. I don't care. So it's definitely more confident, I guess, now, and I hope that my music makes people feel more confident, especially queer people.
It does. I can't speak for everyone else. It does. It does for me.
Oh, thank you. I
I
tried.
they're anthems for me, especially like I live this really weird life now where people don't think I'm trans because I've tried to pass, I guess, for so long that like people just don't think I'm part of the community. So your music makes me always feel very, very connected to that, especially being like I'm in like a heterosexual relationship. Everyone just, you know what I mean? So it's like I I I feel ashamed about being trans sometimes because I feel like that's not what the world wants from me now, or like that's not what, especially like men. You know what I mean? They don't want to. I always have a lot of shame around like engaging in good gay culture and like memes. So your music makes me feel like just validated to my core, and through all of my experiences like that in high school and coming out and being outed and all that stuff. So it's very validating for me.
That is the goal. So I'm very glad it's been able to do that for you and hopefully some other people too. So thank you.
How does your family feel about your music and your boyfriend? They must, I mean, your boyfriend helps with the music, but is your family,
He does
do they
now,
bop
yeah.
too? Do they turn on Kentucky Prince and cook dinner?
Ooh, definitely a hard no on that one. I do get a lot of support from my family. Thank God, I'm very lucky, thankfully. Um, but it's kind of just to a point where I'm like, I'll release something and I'll tell my mom like, this one, hell nah, don't turn that shit on. You better no. You can stream it on mute. That always helps. Um, and then yeah, my sister's kind of the same. Like, I don't. want them listening to it, TBH. Sometimes they do, anyways, and they've never been like anything but supportive. So I'm very appreciative of that. Getting into a relationship was really scary, I must say.
Yeah.
Like releasing music, I was scared that it was going to be immediate rejection of like what I called the Taylor Swift effect, like dating as a musician. I don't want someone thinking like they're just gonna write a song about me and it's gonna be messy and it's gonna be nah, 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 nah. All of that stuff. Which like no hate to Taylor Swift. That's just like a bad misconception of artists and stuff. Um, but yeah, I especially like him and I, our music tastes are very different. He loves like System of a Down, for example. And if you know anything about my music, it's definitely not System of a Down. He's just yeah, he's very supportive though. Thank God. Like
Do you and your boyfriend listen to your music just like when you're out in the car?
sometimes if there's a Parcher song that comes on, I immediately go to skip it and he's like, "Hell nah, bitch. We're going back." And he makes me listen to it. But yeah, he's really sweet. He always wants me to like, enjoy my music. I do make it and stuff, so I might as well. But yeah, he's very nice about it.
I'm so excited that you have a partner who is so validating but also really encouraging with your art. And
Very.
yeah, I think that's so important, especially in an environment where you're having people tell you that you're not who you're supposed to be, you're not good enough, and having that kind of support constantly and that love and that encouragement, like that's awesome.
Yeah,
I'm really happy for you
during
guys.
Alive Dead Repeat, whenever I was wrapping up that album is when I first like getting serious with him. And like I don't know like to this day even if he truly knows like how much he helped me during that like wrap up period of like releasing the album. It had like 50 different variations, so many scrap songs, like it's insane. Um and he really just helped me like get on track, back with my music, visualize what I wanted to be, and like I never want to put pressure on him, but he really helped me like mentally ground myself and like find stability again and trust because for the longest time it was just like this horrible headspace that I was in and like he really helped me like pull myself out of it and just he truly is just like the best thing I could have ever asked for. So,
For you to be so confident, I would never know that there was like a dark side to your music or anything. Like I love the persona, but it's like hearing your real life stories of the church and, you know,
yeah.
being like maliciously misgendered inaccurately at work.
It's such
Like
a honestly at this point it's kind of become funny at work. Like it's an inside joke of like anytime I'm like on a speaker, it's just like, yes, ma'am. I'm like, okay. Like the voice I get a little more, but like there'll be days when I don't show this like on social media, but like I just won't shave my face for a while and like I got a lot of face double going on. And like it's very much not giving ma'am, but there was apparently one lady, and I don't know how true this was, but apparently she asked my coworker, um, does the lady up front have PCOS? I was like, oh, no need for that. None, really. Um, and then I did experience firsthand, like this one lady, I sent her way, and then she comes back around the corner and she says, "You're a girl, aren't you?" And I said, "No." She said, "Oh," and just walked away. I was like,
you said he him but giving baby girl, got my finger in my hair, give it a twirl.
right, stream it. Stream it.
What would your advice be for other young queer musicians who are using music and art and like persona as an escape from homophobia, transphobia, families not being supportive?
Honestly, like, just cheesy, but like do whatever feels like authentic to you. I feel like for a while I was trying to appeal to people and that's just not that won't get you anywhere truly. Like mentally at least. Will block you and you will not progress as a person. So do whatever feels right for you, and also just serve cunt. Like, don't be scared to just serve cunt. I know that sounds like a joke, but like, I'm so serious. Whenever I filmed the Kentucky Prince music video and I threw on that little camo shirt, my booty shorts, and my 10-inch heels, I felt like peak. Like, ugh, it was such a good feeling to just making a live dead repeat, but also releasing it, and just the entire album is just like, fuck it, why not? That's, I feel like, the vibe of a live dead repeat, and it truly, like, the biggest confidence boost of my life was releasing that album, I feel like.
100%. And like, I love that persona and that kind of extreme confidence and just like, oh, y'all want to fuck with me? Like,
Yeah.
as a
Right.
queer person, be like, oh yeah, I'm unabashedly queer and proud of myself, is something that I feel like people don't take seriously enough. Like, people may think it's just camp, but for us, it's like an art form. It's like that's pure expression, and also it's super super helpful to young queer people who are ashamed of themselves. So to see people like you taking yourself very seriously and like being very confident, I feel like is very very necessary in a lot of people's journeys.
Yeah, I my biggest thing is like, if I could show like eighth grade Parcher now, and like my music, my videos, just like all of that stuff, I really do feel like it would make him very proud. So I feel like that's always like the goal at the end of the day.
So where do you want to go next? You've mentioned that you would love to do live performances at some point in like a club kind of capacity, club setting, which I think would be fierce. I will be the first one there. And you
Thank
also
you.
and you'll of course, and you also talked about your next album being kind of more a recreation of your more serious themes that you explored in like earlier projects, but you now have the skills and the production value to really back it up. And then you said you want to go back to being fun and pop.
Yeah. Um, Basically just this entire project that I'm working on now, is gonna be very story driven. It's, I would almost say, concept album-ish of like my life, basically. Um, and I feel like it'll be used as something that can like define me as a person, and people can go back to and like read the lyrics almost like a book. Um, but after this, I want to have fun. I don't want to take it not serious, but like, you know, instrumentally, lyrically, like I said earlier, serve cunt. That's really what I got.
I think you're a marketing genius. Like I just the like the cover art, you put so much thought into all of the artwork behind it and also how it's like rolled out on social media, and it's just all so smart, and I've just you really inspired me to want to not become like an influencer, but to start expressing myself again out on social media. So
It's
thank
fun.
you.
Yeah. Thank you.
Where can everyone follow you?
So it should be, it's Parcher, if not just Parcher, on TikTok, Instagram, YouTube, Spotify, Tumblr if you're a freak. Um, Not actually freaky though. And then I think that's like about it, I think. Yeah. Did I say YouTube? YouTube. I post sometimes, every now and then.
I love your YouTube vlogs and your gameplays and
Thank
stuff.
you. I'm editing one right now that it's like me playing Webkins. It should hopefully be out by the time this is like released, but it's, yeah, me revisiting my old childhood favorite game, Webkins.
Yes. Thank you. Thank you. All
Thank you. But yeah,
right. Well, everyone, please follow Parcher, and thank you again for being on here and for sharing everything. So
thanks so much. Love you. Bye, guys.
we'll keep up with you. Bye, everyone. Okay, sorry. rephrase that. Bye, guys. Sorry. And thank you again to our guest, Parcher. And just remember that you are not alone, and we have resources on our website if you need help. Go to thewillofthehunted.com/resources. Please check out Parcher's music, and we'll see you next week here on The Will of the Hunted, Tuesday at 6 p.m. Eastern on YouTube, Spotify, and Apple Podcasts.
Sometimes I went through it alone, it's better than you. There is a reason I don't wear those old pair of shoes. Originally, I had no plan of moving on. Had to push myself off the ledge and know what's going on.
You are not alone. And if you need help, go to thewillofthehunted.com/resources.